All right, Jemand, welcome back to the show, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me back on.
Yeah, it's been a year and a half since the last time you were on.
Damn, that's crazy. Time flies, bro.
It's crazy.
A lot has happened in that year and a half.
I know. It's been a pretty wild, since the last time we left off. I know we were just talking about this before we started recording. Very jealous of your vacation, man. Yeah. I got to get to Greece, dude.
Yeah.
It was a sick time or what?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Definitely a bucket lister for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Where'd you go again? Did you go to different islands?
We went to Mykonos, Crete, Athens, and Santorini. Yeah.
Okay. What was your top out of those?
Oh, man, that's good. I would say if I was to go back, I would go back to the island of Crete, because it's just beautiful. The water is nice, it's not as crowded and it's not as tourist trap. Like Mykonos is beautiful but it's crazy expensive, right? And it's a lot of tourists. And Athens is just overpopulated. It's like the city, So it would be Santorini or Crete. Is my two favorite spots. Yeah.
Were those places, would they be worth seeing? Like if I were to go, or should I just go right to Santorini and?
If you were to go, I would do the whole thing.
Just do it.
I'll just go all in. Then after that, if you want to go back, then you can make a decision, right? So I know people who go back and they'll go to Mykonos because they just want to blow money. Like Mykonos is beautiful, but expensive. Like literally, like everything is 3 times the price. It's like crazy, But so.
Got it. Well, if I ever make it there, you'll be the first guy that I hit up, and you got to give me all the good spots, man.
Definitely.
But so tell me a little bit about what's been going on the last year and a half.
Oh man, just growth.
Okay.
Growth, business, relationship, mindset wise, and just improving on who I am as a person. Improving on the business, on my craft. I've recently franchised, in the last year.
Dude.
Thank you. So that's a whole new journey, whole new business model, so trying to learn that and enjoying the process,
Yeah,
so,
dude.
Yeah.
Last time you were on the show, we were talking about it. You were like, I'm just about to actually franchise.
Yeah.
So like you didn't even do it yet. So now you're, I guess, a year and a half or so into that. How's that going? I'm sure there's some bumps in the road, things that you're learning. How's it going?
I want to say it's rewarding.
Okay.
It's rewarding because it's like starting a new business, so you learn the ins and the outs of it, okay? Your strengths and your weaknesses, but it's fun at the same time. The same excitement of starting a new business, where it's like when you make the deal, you sell a franchise, you're like, yes, it's exciting. But what's rewarding about it just knowing that, man, this person, I'm about to impact this person's life. We're in the fitness industry, so when you sign a client up for a 6-month membership or 1-year membership, you're excited because you're like, man, in 6 months, in a year, this client is going to be a whole new person. They're going to be leaner, more fit, sexier, stronger, happier, better relationship. It's the same thing, but now you're thinking this person is going to have more financial freedom, more time freedom, right? They're going to have, a business that fulfills them, and they're going to have fun doing it, right? So you're about to change this person's life, their whole trajectory, and help them create a legacy for not just them, but for their family. But the scary part is that they're investing a lot of money in you, right? So you can't mess it up. Like with weight loss, it's like kind of like, yes, it's money. It's a lot of money for some people. However, it's like, all right, they can have a bad month, right?
Yeah.
And be like, all right, I'll just get back on the wagon tomorrow. With this one, it's kind of like you can't afford having a bad month because every month has to be good months, because you're on a timeline to get them to success fast so they can make their money back, their investment back. So it's exciting and rewarding, but at the same time scary as hell.
Yeah. I'm sure, man. That's got to be like, there's a little bit more pressure than like, Mrs. Jones wants to lose 10 pounds.
Yes.
Like we know we're pretty confident, but I guess when you're new to this, it's like, it's a different world, right?
Yeah,
it's a completely
100%.
different business. So what do you do? Like and I don't know how much of this you could talk about or not, but when you are the franchisor, right? Franchisor.
Yes, sir.
When you're in that position and somebody wants to franchise, so how do you map that out? You give them systems and all that stuff, or are you coaching them almost through it, or how does it work?
It's pretty much like a mentorship.
Okay.
And I got this from Bedros. He goes, you have to mentor them, as you would, if you were mentoring like another gym owner to grow in their business, but you're mentoring them in your business, teaching them everything. So if somebody wants to get in, first they apply, right? And, they go in and they see if they're somebody that we're going to award this franchise to. And I'll be real, we've had people apply And I've taken people through the whole step, and then on the discovery day when they come and they meet me and they come into my gym, I go back and I'm like, yeah, I don't want that person buying into my franchise, So they have to be the right fit. Their core values have to align, because it's like a marriage. It's a 7-year house. It's a 7-year, a franchise agreement. So it's a 7-year term. So in that time, I'm pretty much married to in the relationship.
You're going to be getting to know that person pretty damn well over 7 years, man.
So it can't be based off of just, oh my God, I can make money quick. Like I had this one guy, not gonna say his name, but he was all in. He's like, I'm looking right now, I have all this money. I sold businesses. He had a Club Metro franchise, so he sold and goes, I have all this money, I'm looking at franchises. I see Alpha Fit Club, I see F45, I see these, and I stumbled upon yours. He goes, I really like yours. The cost of entry is lower than the other ones. If you want to go into like a F45, it's almost like $400,000 to do that. So he's like, I want to learn more. So he did the research and he loved what he saw. He went through the whole process and he's like, I'm all in. He goes, I want to do an area development. I want to do three franchises, 3 locations. So he wants to sign a big deal. It's like huge. Right off the bat.
Damn.
And my franchise advisor is excited. He's like pushing it because, he gets good commission off of it. He's like, this guy says it's a real deal. This is what we're looking for. Got on a phone interview with him, a meeting, on Zoom. His energy was pretty cool, funny guy, awesome, and he loved the idea of it. He goes, I'm going to be the guy that's going to help blow you up, and I'm going to bring this out. Started talking about his connections. I'm like, okay. And then he came in for a discovery day.
As soon as people start talking about their connections, red flag goes up.
Red flag.
It's like, why the fuck you bringing up your connections, bro? Hold on a second. you start to think a little bit.
You're like, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy that we think the same. Now, he's talking about this. I am this. When people start bragging and start boasting, I know this person, I know that person, I've done with this. So I'm like, all right, man, enough. People who are certain of themselves and successful don't need to brag about it. Because talk about millions. I have these millions here, millions. All right, come to for Discovery Day. Mm-hmm. And he comes in the gym and he's kind of looking.
Excited to see where this is going.
He's looking. And, our model, right? Our model is, it's not a 5,000 square foot gym. It's literally 2,000 to 2,500. We like to keep it small and intimate, right? 30 people in the workout session, right? So it's kind of like you are right there with the person. It's not one person here and the other person a mile away. So it's intimate, right? So it's like energy is flowing, the sweat is flowing. It's like boom, right? So it's like family, it's connected. Yeah. So some people don't like it. They're like, oh yeah, it's too packed for me. But people love it because they get to connect to people. So he comes and he goes, man, I love this. He goes, this right here, because he's Italian. He goes, this is like that that small Italian restaurant in the neighborhood that it's like you go in and it's like the tables are next to each other and you're bumping elbows and people always going there every day because they love the food. It's amazing. Like the energy is good. The owners are great. They come out, the chef comes out. It's family. He goes, but only the neighborhood knows about it. The other people don't really know. So it's kind of like if you know it, and it's good. He goes, this is what that's like. I love the feel. He goes, but, I want to take this mainstream and make it big, So he started talking about ideas. I would like to add this here, and I'd like to put a squat, not a squat rack, the Smith machine here. And so now he's already trying to change everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But then he looks over, and this is where he lost him. He goes, those exercises right there, he goes, if you were a really fat-ass person, you can't do that. And I stop. I'm like, and I had clients there. He's in my gym. He goes, yeah, a real fat-ass wouldn't be able to do that. And I'm like, vocabulary, it's like you're talking about people. You're already calling fat-ass. And so my clients looked, and they're like, okay. And then he goes, yeah, so, when I do this, we're not going to do the exercises because, I don't want fat asses flopping around my gym. God. I'm like, all right, already. I'm like, I don't know. And then he just started going off, and he started using just the words he would say, Yeah,
yeah.
So I was like, all right, listen, man, let's go in the office. Because right now, already, you're turning people off,
Yeah.
And he's in the office, and now he just talking about just, like, hey, just the way he talks about people.
Right.
That's what, like, with that, you can see. He just, like, his values didn't align with ours, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And I came back, and my wife is like, she's excited. She goes, so how did it go? I was like, I don't know, babe. She goes, what? I'm like, his values doesn't align. The way he talks about people, the comment he made in the gym, It's like, this is not the person I want to represent in my business. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of person that he will buy in and he will open, and people will say, hey, great gym, but the owner's an asshole, right? He's that kind of person that
Yeah.
you see. It's like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
that's a great restaurant, but the owner is this, right? So I was like, I don't want that.
Right.
So I called my franchise director. I was like, yeah, we're going to pass on this deal. He lost. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, this is the sure thing. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm not about it, you know? So,
At the end of the day, it represents you, man.
exactly.
You know, that comes back to you.
It comes back, you know? So that's the thing. At the end is kind of like, you got to know your values, and you got to know, why you're doing this, you know,
Right.
whatever business you're going into, and never do things for the money, you know? And that's the thing. Like, if I just wanted the money, I would have said, screw it, buy in,
Right.
But it's not about that, you know, it's bigger than that. So, yeah.
It's what you're trying to build in the long haul. And,
Yeah.
and listen, that goes, you know, even for any business.
Yeah.
For my gym, like for our gym, we have our core values, right?
Yep.
Just like any other business should.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not gonna go too in depth with this story, but I had a guy. I'll call him Cunt Muscle.
Yeah.
Since I'm not gonna say his name. But long story short was he just did not fit our values for many reasons.
Yes.
And you just got to get people like, I don't care if he said, yo, I'll pay you 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand the rest of your life. I'm like, I'm not interested.
Nope.
I'd rather not have you here. I'd rather pay you to get the fuck out than have you pay me any more money like that. And that's so important, man. And I think if you're in the early days of business, you know, like you're seasoned now, but somebody listening to this, they might be like, well, I'm just starting off. I need money, and I get that because I've in the early days you needed money too. You know what I mean?
You've done something.
Yeah. But once you get to a certain point, it's like you got to make those decisions based on what you actually want, what you want to build, the legacy that you want to have, the environment and culture that you want to have. Because anybody that is fucking with your culture, now that's going to affect you more than the money ever will in a way. You know what I mean? Not that money's not important. I'm not trying to say that, but find the right people, because the money will come if you find the right people.
Facts.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
man. Well, that's good, dude. I'm happy to hear that things are going really well for you and that
Thanks.
you're making that. And how is it going now? So now that you are running this as a franchise and you're focused there, how is that affecting you, you know, running your, because you have 3 gyms, right?
Yeah.
So how's that going with that now? Like how are you balancing all this shit?
It's like a juggling act, you know?
Yeah.
It's good because it's actually making me more intuitive with my 3 businesses, right? Because those 3 businesses are going to reflect on the FDD every year, right? People are going to see how good are those businesses doing. So if I'm not pouring lighter fluid into those 3 businesses and it's not at the, generative operating at its optimal percentage, and it's like, so for example, like my first gym, it's at full capacity. Like we have over 260 members that we can't even pack any more people in there, right? Revenue-wise, it's doing amazingly well. The second gym was on a high trajectory, but we took a hit because we lost, one of our top guys there, right? Third gym is doing pretty good, but now it's like those gyms have to do good, because if somebody wants to buy into the franchise, they're gonna look at those 3 gyms,
Right.
and they're gonna say, and this one, the first one is doing good, but what's going on with the second one, right?
Right.
Because I've had the second one for about 11 years now, and there's at one point there was this 3-year stint in that time that it literally like went down to like nothing, because we just had to get rid of all the coaches there, bring on new coaches. We had to kill the cancer in the gym. Right. So that reflects. So
Right.
people are like, what happened here? So it's an opportunity to tell them, hey, this is why you actually want to buy a franchise, because I figured out what happened.
These are the lessons.
These are the lessons. Yep. I learned something here.
Throw
that
friggin' book on the table. These
like,
are lifetime of lessons
it,
running
right?
a gym.
Wait till I tell you what happened here. That the mistakes that if you don't buy it, if you try to open a gym by yourself, you're gonna make those mistakes, right? And now I'm gonna save you from making them, because I've made them already, right? And I've learned from it, and now it will never happen. So it's all an experience and stuff. However, my time has been more in developing like the leaders in the other 3 gyms to make sure that we are operating on all cylinders, because it's gonna reflect at the end of the day, So yeah.
Right. And dude, like, I mean, you have so much going on too. You got a beautiful family. You got 3 kids, right? 3 kids, your wife. You got these 3 gyms. You got the franchise now, and you're focused on that. Like, so And then at the end of the day, right, there's people out there that say they don't have time to work out, right? I don't have time to train.
You love that?
Yeah. So you got all this stuff going on. How do you manage that, like your balance of personal life and business and all these things? Like, how do you structure your day? We talked about this a little bit last time, but I'm curious now that you've had these changes. Like, what does a day look like for you? How do you structure this? How do you make time for everything?
Yeah. So about just trying to find routine, getting into a habit, getting into a routine, and just mapping it out. Knowing like, hey, before I go down to sleep, I got to know what my day is going to look like tomorrow, right? It's not about waking up like, oh, what do I do today, right? So I'm always gonna work out. I don't think a day will go by where I don't work out. It's not negotiable, right? Getting it in. Typically I like to get it in the morning, right? I wake up, I go hit the gym first thing in the morning, get my workout in, 6 a.m., come back. When it was the school time, I get the kids ready for school, get them on the bus. Now it's the summer, they don't have to go to school. So I'll go in the gym, go in my studios, make sure things are going good. Right now I'm spending more time in my second studio, trying to build it up a little bit more. And then from there, we'll do a phone call meeting with my mentors, or I'll do a meeting with my top coaches, my leaders. And then from there, it's time with the wife. We'll go home, have lunch. She's usually like ordering something, or she's cooking something. We'll have lunch, spend time together. And then the evening is just growth. The afternoon, late evening is a lot of growth, right? From like 3 p.m. to probably like 5, a lot of growth. I'm going through podcasts, books, courses, whatever I need to, improve. And then from there, I'll head back to any of the gyms, for a little bit, connect with people there, clients or whatever. And then come home and spend time with the family, dinner, go out for a bike ride or whatever it is. But I'm always, no matter what, the workout is not negotiable. Growth is not negotiable. I got to spend like at least an hour, 2 hours a day on growth, on, okay, what course am I going through? What book am I reading? What podcast am I listening to? What audiobook am I reading? Because, if you're not growing, you're dying, both mentally and physically. So that's why it's not negotiable to work out, and it's not negotiable to have that mental, mindset growth. From there now, everything comes together. When I go to sleep at night, in my head, I'm like, did I improve today? Am I 1% better than I was yesterday? And that all just comes from pretty much fitness, pouring into people, making people better. Because when you make people better, you become better yourself. So did I pour into my clients? Did I pour into, my franchisees? Did I pour into my coaches? Did I pour into my kids? Did I pour into my wife? Did I make everybody around me better? Right? So that's super important to me.
Is that just like a mental checklist that you do, or do you actually write this stuff down?
No, it's a mental checklist,
okay.
Right? I have something, I got this from Bedros, gratitude text, right?
Yeah.
So, every day I pick 3 people, send a gratitude text. Hey, just want to let you know that, I love and appreciate you. And if it's a client, hey, I've been seeing what you're doing in the gym, you're crushing it. I appreciate you. I appreciate your commitment to Easy Fit. And I'm here for you if you ever need anything. Let's connect. And people just always appreciate it. Whether it's clients who don't think they're going to hear from you, family members. So gratitude text is huge. But mine is a checklist of, okay, did I do all these things? We're making sure I made everybody around me better that day. And that's why every day, man, I always go about and say, how can I improve somebody's life? Even if it's the person who's at Starbucks, selling the coffee, just making her smile. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so that's huge. But pretty much it's just having that routine down and being in the habit of it, and not every day is going to be perfect. There are days where it's like, hey, you plan to work out in the morning, but you know what? It's like, hey, so whether it's something with the kids, or it's like, I got to head into the gym this morning because of XYZ happened, a coach didn't show up or whatever it is, and you got to make sure things are going good. But regardless, it's always good.
Do you ever hit periods where you get complacent? Because I'll tell you, if I'm being fully transparent, there's been because you and I are very much alike in that we're growth minded and like hungry and want to build things, want to create, want to help people. That's just who we are, right? But there's periods of times where I've hit and I'm just like, I'll look back and I'm like, damn, like the last month or so, like I feel like I've been super complacent, and I look back and then I kind of get down on myself and I'm like, all right, what do I got to do to fucking pull myself up because I'm feeling kind of shitty? I'm like, and I'm wondering, I'm like, am I just fucking nuts? Like, am I?
You are not nuts,
you
bro.
You know what I mean? So do you feel like you hit periods like that?
Yes, it's normal for us because we're such in a growth path that complacent is normal for everyday people who aren't entrepreneurs or driven individuals. So if I feel like it always happens where I'm like, okay, I'm not doing enough, right? I should be doing more, right? And it's like, and you get complacent. And here's the thing, it's easy to happen, because in life we want to be comfortable. Like subconsciously, that is our DNA, right? The brain wants to be comfortable. The body wants to be comfortable. That's why we stay in this comfort zone, right? So I always talk about 2 zones that people should be in, okay? So imagine a big circle, right? The first one is the comfort zone, okay? 95% of the time, we are in this comfort zone, right? The average human being, 95% of the time, they're in the comfort zone. Why is it called a comfort zone? Because it's comfortable. Not having to work out, not having to wake up early, not being disciplined, not being on a routine, eating whatever you want. Comfort zone. That's complacent, right? Being lazy, right? Having a certain level of success and then say, I'm good, I can chill. You go into that comfort zone, okay? Then there's the small circle. This small is called the suck zone. Why is it called the suck zone? Because it sucks being in there, right? And that's where we thrive, right? Because we have to be in it. We have to do the things that suck, right? You being in here doing this podcast, you don't have to do this, right? You can just be like, I'm good. I got success going. I got a new baby at home. Like, I can just chill. But you're like, no, man, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this because you have a vision. You're driven. So you're going to do the things that suck a little bit more so that way you're never complacent. And the growth, if you spend 1% of the time, see, we only spend 5% of the time here, but the more you spend in there every day, that's why I say I got to be 1% better every day. So kind of like, how much time do I spend in the suck zone? Doing the things that I don't want to do. But I know that if I do, it's going to lead to more success, more growth, right? So yes, it's easy to get complacent and fall back into that comfort zone. And the majority of the people do it. And it only takes a certain level of people that understand, like, hey, if I'm doing that, that means I'm not doing the shit that sucks, right? So it's like, all right, go out and just go hit a 5-mile run and do some shit that suck, right? Go hit the hardest workout you've ever hit. Go join this mastermind. Go join this, because that's why I join masterminds. My wife is like, babe, that's like your 3rd mastermind this year. It's like, what are you doing? Like, that's your 3rd. I said, cuz I got to learn.
You're a part of 12 masterminds. How do you have time for all?
Yeah, it's crazy. In 2022, I looked, I'm like, damn, I'm in like 4 different masterminds. Because I'm like, I don't know enough. I got to learn. I want to learn more. I want to know. You teach it Airbnb, I want to learn. You teach it event space, I want to learn it. You teach it about business, I want to learn it. You teach it investment. So it's kind of like, I want to learn all these things, and I never want to settle, right? I never want to settle, because once you settle and you're like, I'm good, then you get complacent, then you fall into that comfort zone. And then if you do it mentally, you do it physically, right? You stop working out as much, you stop being as driven, your growth stops, right? So yeah, 100%, man, it's normal to fall into that zone, but it's knowing that I'm in that zone, I gotta go do some shit that sucks, right? Okay, I'm gonna spend $50,000 this year on a mastermind. It's like, damn, right? it's like, man, my wife is like, babe, like, come on, that's supposed to go towards our pool that we're saving up for. It's like, so I'm like, okay, like that $50K is gonna help me make triple it or 10x it, so we can even get a bigger pool, babe. Don't worry, I got this.
Well, that's the thing, though. And that's what people listening to this, like, it's so important. Like, yeah, $50K is a big investment, but you know what? That $50K is gonna turn into 100 or 200 or $1 million. By you making that investment. And that's the thing. If you just look at that number on the front end, you don't focus on what you're going to get on the back end. Then that's going to be a hard sell. But at the end of the day, if you think about, okay, here's $50K, but you're going to help me turn this into $200K. Okay, well, I'll take that all day. All day. Right? All day. So it's funny, though, because as you're talking, I'm like, there's these sides of me, right? One side is, okay, I'll hit these periods of complacency, and I'm like, fuck, I got to get my shit together. But then the other side of me is like that shiny object syndrome guy, where I'm like, all right, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then I'm fucking working 20 hours a day, and then I'm like, shit, I'm doing too much. For me, it's always trying to find that middle ground. I don't believe in balance, so to speak. I think I think balance, like, we want to spend time with our family. We want to spend time with our friends. We want to build relationships. We want to build businesses. And that's going to create balance. But it's not going to be a perfect balance. It's not 50-50. It's like, here's your work and here's your mix with your family. Like Pedro said, there's not a work-life balance. There's a work-life mix. 100%. Sometimes my mix is a little fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'm either like too much friends and travel and stuff, or I'm too much work. And it's usually too much work and stuff like that. But yeah, just trying to find that balance. And I think, like you said, like always, like having a routine to ground you is so important, because if you don't have that routine, you kind of get lost in those things. Like, all right, let me get back to what I know I should be doing. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. What are some ways when you do hit those periods where you could get back to your baseline, so to speak?
Man,
what are some things that you do if you see either, because you are like me in that you might hit that complacency window from time to time, but that all those in masterminds, like that little bit of shiny object syndrome, right? So what do you do to ground yourself?
Yeah, it's I just find opportunities, right? When I'm complacent, it's kind of like, all right, what do I need to be doing? Because being complacent is kind of like saying, I'm good, I'm okay, right? It's like, now I'm like, what do I need to do? What can be done? What can I improve on? Whether it's, again, relationship, business, me, right? Mindset growth. So it's just finding more things to do, right? Because ultimately, it's like, I feel like I haven't achieved my truer self yet, like become the best version of myself. So it's, again, like I said, it's just finding something that puts you out of your comfort zone, right? And say, okay, I'm just going to go do that, right? And again, whether it's joining an expensive mastermind that is uncomfortable taking money and just putting into something, it's like, yo, like, that I can use that money for a lot of other things, right? So it's pretty much that. It's just going out of that comfort zone and operating that suck zone, and then finding the things that I know is going to make me feel like, damn, right? And this sucks right now, but I know that ultimately it's going to help me create that more success and ultimately get out of that being complacent and getting that into that thrive zone and, creating the success. So, yeah.
Got it. And what's the vision for you now, man? So, like, you have all these things going on, like, let's just say the next 5 years, like, what are some things that you'd like to achieve? Where do you want to take this all?
Oh, yeah. Man, let's bring it in with that, right? So, I mean, vision, family-wise, I want to create just more freedom for myself and my family, right? Yeah. Time and financial freedom, right? So that's, like, in the next 5 years, it's creating that. So being able, like we talked about going to Greece, right? I want to just be able to get up and say, hey guys, pack your bags, we're going to go to Spain. Hey guys, pack your bags, we're going to Greece again. And be able to do that and have that financial time freedom, to do that. That's a vision for myself where it's not about, oh, we can't afford it, or hey, we don't have the time to do it because we're always working, okay? And then just having more fulfillment, We got into this industry of being coaches and working with clients because it's fulfilling. That is still fulfilling, but me now, I'm seeking other forms of fulfillment. And lately it has been just helping people create more success for themselves, right? And that's why I franchise, because I'm like, man, I want to help people just stop working the 9 to 5, like stop living paycheck to paycheck, and stop hating their lives and, having a horrible relationship or whatever it is, and just come into here and be able to create more success for yourself, make more money. That's why I ultimately got into coaching. Like, I have gym owners reaching out to me like, hey, man, can you help me? Can you mentor me? Can you coach me? Do you have a coaching program? I'm like, well, I don't really have anything out there, but yeah, sure. Right. So now it's like, well, I want to do that with my franchisees. So that's why I franchise, because I want to take this person that I know struggling through life and put them in a position where they can win and keep winning. That's a new form of fulfillment that I'm getting now. So it's like, that's the vision. It's like just creating that fulfillment through the franchises and just having fun, man. People don't have enough fun these days. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be work and no fun. Right. Growth. I want to have fun. I want to travel. I want to do things with my kids. I want to do things with my life. I just want to wake up every day and be like, today's a great day because there's fun involved. So to me personally, that's, the vision, I'm seeing for myself. And then when it comes to business, my ultimate vision, and in business, I'm going with a 10-year vision, plan, because, in the first 5 years, it's going to be a lot of just figuring things out. Like, we just sold our second franchise, and, the first one was figuring a lot of shit out, right? It's like, yo, like, okay, well, marketing budget, that was not enough. We got to do this, and this, right? So the second one is gonna go even more smooth, right? The third one even more. In the 5 years, it's like, okay, vision for that is 10 franchises in 5 years.
5 years.
And be able to use those 10 in each time is to help all of them create success, right? Master the game. 5 years after that, I'm gonna 10x that. That's my vision, is to be able to 10x that and see. So in 10-year span, 100 franchises. But why 100? Is because I'm not I'm not getting into this like, I want 2,000 franchises. Like Bader's like, yeah, we doing 2,000, right? Because he has a different vision for himself, right? Yeah. To me, it's New Jersey. Something about Jersey. I want it so in Jersey, any 20-minute, 15, 20-minute direction you drive, this is going to be an easy fit. Like, so if you're moving anywhere in Jersey, we got your back. Our clients could go anywhere. They can tell their friends over there or over there, hey, man, you got to join my gym. Oh, yeah, there's one down the road. I can go join, right? So I want to create that cluster for it, But in that process, I see 100 because I want 50 franchisees, okay? And I want each of them having 2 gyms.
Okay.
Right? Why is that? Because with 2 gyms, you can create $1 million gym business, right? And that will ultimately help them create that freedom, financial time freedom that they want. So mine is taking 50 franchises, making them $1 million business owners, having 100 gyms throughout New Jersey, where no matter where you are, you can drive in that 20, 15-minute, longest 25 minutes to get to an easy fit. I see that so clearly. It's kind of like, all right, 10-year span is going to happen, right? So the first 5 years is dialing everything in, building it, proving the process, having 10 successful, and then boom, and we just go crazy, lighter fluid on in the next 5 years, multiply, duplicate, because I'm going to build a team. And in that process, I want to have a team. Man, I was telling this to one of my, John Lazo, who's like my general, my right-hand in command in the business. I'm like, dude, like, Easy Fit Yacht, man, we're going to have the franchises. We're going to have an Easy Fit Yacht. We're going to be doing, like, meetings on the Easy Fit Yacht. Like, now, like, it's funny because I told her this 3 years ago. And one time we were talking, and, you go, life is, there's something called the pendulum of success, right? So imagine a pendulum, right? If it swings all the way, it's going to swing up here. If it goes up here, what happens? It must come back here, right? So if you're having a lot of success, some point it's gonna come back.
Swinging back.
It's gonna swing. It's inevitable. Yeah. It's inevitable. The same, if it's swinging a failure, it's gonna go to success. The things like people don't understand this. So they're having success. They're on the top of the world. They're not bracing for impact. They don't know, like, hey, it's gonna go back here. It's inevitable. So when it does go back, they're like, oh my God, life sucks. Close everything. Fire everybody. I'm not doing this again. It's failure, right? So now, if you don't swing that pendulum and you stay stuck here, you're complacent, right? You're not. There's no growth. There's no success. There's no nothing. People get afraid and they stay here, and they're not willing to swing because they had one swing, it came back and it went here. They're like, fuck, shit, fuck that. Put the brakes on. Stop here, right? So at one point we had this big, crazy swing, and then it came back and it went here, okay? And that's when, it's crazy. Everybody's like abandon ship. I'm like, no, don't worry. We're going back here. And the best part is the harder you swing that shit up here, the harder it's going to go back here. But the higher it goes back here, that means it's just going to go higher here. Right. You just got to keep swinging it. So he's like, so when we're up here in that failure state, he goes, hey, man, it's all good. This is just means that we're going to get to an Easy Fit Yacht a lot faster because that shit's just going to go back higher. Yeah. I'm like, my man. I'm like, hell yeah.
It's good to have a right hand like
that. Exactly. So it's that vision, like having the people like him. I want the people around me that, because you can't build an empire without a team. It can't just be you, right? You got to be able to have people around you. I want my team to just be super successful, man. Like literally, if I'm creating like millionaires through franchises, I want to create just massive success for my team. I want to just show up with them and just have them driving their dream cars, living their dream house. Again, that's fulfillment. It's not really about like me wanting the Lambos. Like I'd rather have my business partner John driving a Lambo than me driving a Lambo. To me, it's like if I can make him enough money so he can drive a Lambo, like that's success to me. You get what I'm saying? It's like reward, so that's the reward. So that's where I'm at in that 10-year plan. It's just being able to create the life that I want, the freedom, financial and time freedom, being able to have that fulfillment and just helping people be successful. At the same time, helping clients transform, because the more gyms we have, the more lives we can transform, right? So we're doing that, and then just having fun in the process, just creating successful, multiple six-figure earners, millionaires across the board, man. That shit gets me excited.
Yeah, dude, I say you're going to do it, dude. There's no doubt about it. I can see your passion, and I can see your
Thanks.
excitement for that, and you're driven. Like there's no way that you'll fail.
Thanks.
There will be failures along the way, but you will succeed overall. You can see that. You know what I mean?
Thanks, I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude. And that, I think that goes back to, like you said, you want to have fun doing it. That goes back to what we said in the beginning. Make sure you have the right people around you, not just your clients or the people that are investing, but your team. Like, you got to be around people that fire you up, right?
Facts.
The reason I asked you to come on this podcast is because you inspired me. So I get excited. So I leave here. I'm like, all right, what the fuck am I going to do today? I'm going to do this. And then you sent me right back to the place I didn't want to be, dude. Thanks. Yeah. but that's the whole thing. It's like, you know, being around the people that will lift you up and support you. That's why it's so important to be a part of those masterminds.
Yes,
go to
sir.
events. That's how you and I met.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
we were at Luca's event a couple years ago, and then
that's
you know, like so now we've developed this friendship, and you come on the show and we get to chat and stuff like that. I get to learn from you. Maybe you get to learn a little bit from me. But that's how we all grow, right? That's how we all get better. So being around the right people, that's going to lead to your growth. That's going to lead to you having more fun, getting more fulfillment out of life. These groups, man, like that's why it's so important. Whether you know if you are, whether it's on the fitness side, if you're sitting home right now and you're eating Cheetos on your couch and you're like, you can't figure out how to break through and get to the next level, well, find a fucking gym that has like-minded people that will support you, that will coach you, that will help you, that will lift you up and get you moving.
Yes.
If you're struggling in business, find a group, right? It's the same thing. Like, you got to find these people, get around them, have other people help you, because just through osmosis, like, you're going to start to shift. You're going to start to pivot. You're going to start to change. It's just that energy, man. You know what I mean? Like, when you come bringing that high energy, like, now that's carried over to me.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just such a powerful
that's what it is.
thing.
Like, even like when you build your team, right? When you hire people, you have to be that person. Because when you bring people on your team, a lot of times they don't really know about business, entrepreneurship, you know, gym and all that stuff. And you have to be that impact in their lives. And, you know, it's called the law of environment, right? Surround yourself with people who are successful, right? Surround yourself with people who you ultimately want to be like, you know, strive to be like. So when I build my team, I have to know that I am the role model, right? So if I'm not working out, I can't expect them to work out, right? If I'm not growing, I can't expect them to grow, right? Beto said in his book, you got to be a fighter jet, right? If you're a fighter jet, you got to go where other fighter jets are, right? If you're fighter jets and you're surrounding yourself with crop dusters, after a while, your fighter jet mentality is going to break down and you're going to start operating like a crop duster. So on my team, I'm like, yo, fighter jets only, right? I've had to let people on my team go who've been with us for years because they just got into that crop duster mentality and they stopped wanting to be a fighter jet, right? And I say, hey, listen, this is what happens. And that's a fighter jet. We fly in this V formation, right? I'm always in the lead because I have to be as a leader. I can never fall back. Because now I want everybody trying to catch up with flying V formation, right? And what's more powerful, one fighter jet or squadron of fighter jets? Squadron, right? So you want to be around, you know, surround yourself with people. Yes, it's good to go into the mastermind and be around those people, but you are a leader to others, right? And every man who's listening to this, they have the opportunity to be that fighter jet in their community, be that fighter jet amongst their friends, right? So instead of sitting down and eating Cheetos and Doritos and watching Sunday football for 7 hours and not going to the gym, like, you're a crop duster. Like, become the fighter jet so people around you can say, hey, I want to level up in my life so I can be around you and be like you and ultimately achieve more success. So with us, it's like, if somebody on our team, it's not a fighter jet, their mentality starts to break down and they start becoming a crop duster, we have to let them go, you know. And if I have friends that I surround myself with that aren't in that mindset, I can't hang out with them. And this is the reason why we met, because we have that fighter jet mentality. We're like, yo, where we gonna go? We gotta go kill shit today, right? We gotta go bomb shit. We gotta go kill shit. Like, what are we killing today? Like, let's go, right? So you're flying, I'm flying. Like, oh, Luca's here. Like, Steve is there. We're like, fuck it, let's go. And if we all come together in the room, it's like, yo, that is some badass people there, right? Like, a Cheeto eating crop duster cannot. They can't, you know? So that's the thing, man. So yes, that law of environment, just surround yourself with people who are like-minded and people who you can learn from and who you want to be like. And if you see they're up here, you're like, dude, I got to work harder to be up there. Not saying, oh, I can never get there. I'll just stay down here, you know? So 100%, man.
Dude, and like, anybody listening to this that's like, well, I feel like I am a crop duster. Like, I was a crop duster. I was a fucking crop duster. I was the guy that was going to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
waking up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, drinking all the time.
Yeah, playing video games for like 6 hours.
Bro, I would stay up till 5 a.m. watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. that was my thing. I would just watch Fresh Prince reruns. And yeah, like drinking all the time and eating fast food. I was fat, you know, like I've been there, you know, so if I could fucking pull there's nothing special about me besides the fact that, you know, I figured out what it was that was truly driving me. I found a passion, and I was excited to show that to other people, and that's what drove me out of bed every morning. That's what drove me to open TTS in the first place and build shit and create shit. And as you go along that journey and you want to get better and you have that why, that burning fucking fire in your soul, it's like, okay, I need to figure this out. There is no like, what if I don't? It's like, I got to figure this shit out. So I'm going to find the people that could teach me. And that's how I found Bedros, and that's how I found these guys. And, you know, just kind of, it just snowballs from there. And then every year you just get a little bit better, 1% better every day, right? Just a little bit better. And you keep growing, you keep going. And that's the difference. Like, that's the only thing, is that you're not afraid to do the work.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
If you could get past that, like that discomfort, getting out of that comfort zone, like you've been talking about, man, like anything is possible.
Yeah.
I'm nothing special.
Yeah.
I built a pretty special thing with TTS. I'm on to the next thing now with a coaching program as well. Like, as you were talking about this, I'm like, dude, it's the same thing for me, because I was that struggling gym owner that needed some guidance and some help learning how to turn this into an actual business. I remember back in 2015, I opened my gym in 2012, and there was a point in 2015 where we were down to 6 clients. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, I got to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
And at the time I was working at the fire department, and I was like, I got to get out of here. I really need somebody to help me. That's how I found Bedros, and that's how I started to grow. And what Bedros did for me, man, like I'm forever indebted to that man, because in the beginning too, that first year, I just was doing his online course, right? It was like $100 a month, and I'm like, oh, $100 a month. I'm like, I don't have it. Shit, all my money I'm making from the fire department's going back into the gym. Like, $100 a month's a lot. So I did that. Then I finally, you know, my business went from like 6 to like 40 or so clients. And then I was like, fuck it, I got to go to this guy's event. He's doing the Fitness Business Summit. So I went to that in 2017, and then I hired him to work with, you know, one-on-one at that point. And then that was an investment where I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot of fucking money, man. How do I do this? But I did it, and I grew and I grew. And I want to be able to do that for people now.
Yes,
I think,
I love it.
You know, I love helping people. Fitness, I'll always love it. I love helping guys get stronger, lose body fat, get fit, get healthy. Like, I just, you know, we have a YouTube show called TTS Talk. And I just had 2 of our clients on here before you came in. And just talking to them, it fires me up, right? But I know my job and my role is a little bit different in their lives these days. My job now is training the team, make sure my team could do what I once did to help them, to impact them. And I got to be the leader, right? My role has shifted. And with that shift, I've created some more freedom in my life, right? To get this message out here more, have more conversations like this, travel more, do these things. But now it's like there's something else, right? There's something else that's missing. And for me, it's like, man, there's a lot of gym owners out there that are struggling. And I've been there, man, and that sucks. Like, you're trying to figure out how to pay your bills. I just ate the microphone. You're trying to figure out how to pay your bills. And, you know, when I was in that situation, I was 25, 26. There's people that they have kids. Like, I was a young single guy. Like, it didn't, you know, there's people that are in a position now where they have children, they have mouths to feed, and they're in this position. That inspires me. I'm like, dude, I want to figure out how I could help them. And that's why I'm now getting into the business coaching program.
And
as
I
well.
see the excitement, because you almost ate the microphone, because you're so passionate about talking about it. You can see that excitement. That's what I talk about, fulfillment. But you know, something crazy, how you talked about being a crop duster, right? I was once a crop duster, and this is huge, because something happened from when you were a crop duster to when you became a fighter jet, right? And you notice you came to the point where you're like, I want more in life, right? I want to have more. I want to have more money, so that way I'm not, this $100 doesn't hurt me as much, right? You flip the switch, like Bedros said, you got to flip the switch. Something has to happen. But this is what ended up happening. You realize, see, in life, it's like there's 3 different things. We want to have, right? We want to have more time freedom, more money freedom, whatever it is, right? You know, have a beautiful family, nice cars, you know. We want to have. But in order to have, we have to do, right? And the thing is, like, that 1.0 version of you, wasn't capable of doing what was required to have what you have now.
Right.
To have the business you have, the lifestyle you have, the freedom to be able to do this right now. That 1.0 Chris just couldn't do it.
Right.
So in order for you to have more, you figured, well, something has to happen. And this is when you found a mentor. Because in order to have more, you have to do more. In order to do more, you have to become more. So you decided, I have to become somebody I'm not right now. I have to become the 2.0 Chris. But you didn't know how to do that by yourself. This is where mentorship is good. This is why you need coaches. Like, you look at any movie you watch, right? You watch Star Wars, like, right? Like Obi-Wan, like, you have, everybody has a mentor.
Yep.
Like Michael Jordan. Why is he the best? Like Grover, right? Tim Grover was his coached him every day. Like, everybody needs a mentor. You cannot do the things that you need to do to have what you want to have at the level you're at, right? Because that crop duster person could never operate at this level, have the business and the success you have, right? So you needed to become the person. See, when you hired Bedros and then he had you doing the things, he had you become, so you hired him, you started learning, growth, you started becoming, right? Understanding, learning business, learning all these things. You started doing what was required. And when you started doing, you were able to create the success and you started having. And what's crazy is that it's nonstop.
Right.
See, when you get to level 2, now there's level 3, right? So when the shit that you were doing at your 2.0 self cannot get you to the 5.0 version of yourself, right? So with different levels, it's different. First, everything is just harder, right? So you got to do more. That's why we're consistently growing. We're consistently investing in our growth and in ourselves. And ultimately, we have this vision that we have, right? So now you're like, hey, I want to be that person that can take what I've learned, this whole journey, and be able to impact other gym owners, other people, right? Because you've achieved a high level and they're still at level 1. And you know what it's like to be that 1.0 self. And you're like, hey, if I can take all this stuff and I can give it to you, I can help you become your 2.0 self so you can do what's required to have the success that you want, you know? So that's the powerful thing is hearing you say, hey, I was a crop duster. But hey, I knew I wanted more, so I know I have to do more, but I have to become the person that can do those things. And you walk that path. Now you can help others walk that path. You can become somebody's Yoda, you know what I'm saying? It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's what it's about, right? Just like giving back, you know, and knowing that there's other people that are struggling with the shit that you once struggled with.
Yeah.
So how do we help them, right? Like that's what I think inspires me. And yeah, it's amazing to see what you're doing. And again, that's what fires me up to say, you know what, I got to do more, man. There's something else out there. So it's really good stuff, dude. So what does, so as far as the franchise, if somebody wanted to work with you, if they wanted to franchise, like what does that process look like? How do they reach out to you? What's the first step?
Yeah, the first step is, reaching out to me on Instagram, right? I'll send them, a link to go on our franchise website. The website is easyfitnessfranchising.com. I send it to them. They go in and they apply, right? They go through the whole process. They talk to my franchise director. He's going to vet them to make sure they have the financial backing for it. See if they're the kind of people who are passionate. Here's what I look for. People who are passionate about fitness. I don't care if you have $1 billion. Keep your money. You just got to be passionate because we got to talk the same language, right? Yeah. So, so you got to be passionate about fitness. And that's what, intrigued me with the first guy, the guy that wanted to do 3 locations. He was passionate. He's been working. He's 55. He's been working his whole life. He looked good at 55. He was talking about TRT and stuff so he gets it. He knows fitness and stuff, right? So one, you got to be passionate about fitness, right? It's like, okay, cool, you're passionate about fitness, right? Next, it's like, you got to be a good person. You gotta be a good person. Yeah. I don't care if you're jacked like The Rock and you have $1 billion. If you're an asshole, I don't want to work with you.
But what
if
they got connections?
Seriously, it's like, nah, you gotta be a good person. Yeah. You can't represent my brand not being a good person, right? And third is like, you just gotta be hungry. You gotta be hungry and you gotta want success at all costs, right? And you have to be willing to do whatever it takes. Like, it's not easy. You're buying into a business. You're starting a business, right? So it's not easy. It's not sitting back and it's like, oh, Jemand's gonna do everything. No, you're buying into a business. You're gonna do the work, right? So, but I'm gonna give you the blueprint. to do so you don't make the mistakes and you achieve success a lot faster. So now if you're like, okay, I'm passionate, right? I'm a great person, okay, and I'm driven, I'm hungry. All right, cool. Let's connect, right? You go down, you apply, you go hit me up on Instagram. Jemand EZE. I'll reach out to you, send you a link, you apply. My guys go through, take you through the whole process. If you have the financial back, if you don't have the it's fine. Like it's only it's so inexpensive compared to a lot of this. The franchise is $35K, right? So if you have $35K in the bank, and it says if you don't, like we have lines of credit that we're associated with that you can get $35K. So now you have that, great. Then we'll go for the all-in franchise investment, right? Depending on location, the lease for wherever you are. It can be anywhere from $150K up to $200K, right?
Okay.
Now, we also have lenders that can help you. So we can help on that part. If your credit is not good, I got a guy. The credit dude, he's the best in the whole country. He get your credit score from like a 550 to like a 750 in like 3 months. Like he's so good. Yeah. So now we got that, right? We can get your credit score good. We can get you the financing you need. But if you're not passionate about fitness and you're not a good person, it's just not gonna work, Yeah, and that's what it is. So, but yeah, that's how you go about doing it, and the rest is just process. Once we get you in, it's like, okay, this is what we got to do moving forward.
Right,
so yeah.
Right. Well, guys, if you have been thinking about starting a business, here's your opportunity, right?
Yeah.
If you are somebody who's passionate about fitness, if you are a good human being and you're willing to do the damn work, then maybe this is an opportunity for you now listening to this show to reach out to Jemand and at least fill out an application and have a conversation with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And even if you're a gym owner and you're kind of like failing, and you want something, you want to align with a gym that just the vision and the mission and the values are just something that you feel like you can get behind. Like we can come in and we can turn your gym, make it an easy fit transformation center and take it to the next level. So that's something we're looking at now. I've had a couple of gym owners who are struggling, who are literally looking to close their gym. They're like, hey, I've been doing this for 3 years. I hate it. It sucks. And I was like, hey, let's have a conversation. What if we came in and we turned your gym into an easy fit, right? And this is what it looks like, right? So it's another thing that, we're looking into doing, and that's going to help us get to where we want to get to fast enough too. So
nice. And it can help a lot of people that are struggling right now, like figure out the systems and like, here you go. Like we take all the guesswork out of it
100%.
Hell yeah, man. Jemand, I always appreciate you, dude. It's always great chatting with you, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show today.
Likewise.
I know you're going to crush it with the franchise, so I wish you the best of luck. I know you're really in this for the right reasons to help a lot of people and change a lot of lives. So thank you for coming on, man. And guys, if you don't follow Jemand, make sure you follow him again. What's your Instagram again?
Jemand EZE, Jemand EZE. Yep.
Make sure you guys hit him up on IG, and of course, if you're looking to open up a franchise, you know what to do.
Yeah.
So Jemand, thank you again, and guys, I appreciate you tuning in to today's show. We will catch you next week on another episode of the Iron Life Podcast. Peace.
Peace.